In the past year, I found that I would feel overwhelmed for at least a month in a semester. And this is the month where there's too much to work on. My room is very messy. Too much social media. Unchecked lists. Messed up sleeping hours. And procrastination. In other words, I'm not productive. It all began earlier last year following yet another year of, witnessing my New Year's plans begin to crumble. And what once seemed to be ambitious and feasible began to feel like this excessive burden to tackle for me. Simultaneously, the more I refrain from taking action, the more this sense of overwhelm crept in. And it's worse when I feel like everyone else around me is doing so much more. When we focus on the amount of work that we have to do to achieve these big goals or mini goals in a year, it suddenly feels daunting. And this is where we tend to start feeling overwhelmed. So now, my one goal is to get over this paralyzing feeling of being overwhelmed so that I can actually start doing the work. Alright, let's imagine your brain is a busy city with lots of messengers running around. Kind of like delivery folks bringing important packages. These messengers are called neurotransmitters, and they have a big say in how you feel. Whether you're happy, sad, motivated, or just, chill. So now, when life gets a bit too much and you're feeling, overwhelmed, it's like these messengers get stuck in a traffic jam. So this actually messes up the balance of two important messengers. Serotonin, the one that makes you feel good, and dopamine, the one that keeps you motivated and happy. Picture serotonin as your brain's mood booster. When it's not enough, it's like the sunshine in your head dims a bit and you might feel anxious or a bit low. And dopamine is like your brain's energy drink. If there's too much or too little, it messes with your ability to enjoy things or find the energy to do stuff. So when overwhelmed, you can still be engaged but exhausted, dedicated but depleted. And it is important to become aware that you're in this situation because with a depleted and exhausted brain, you might get distracted easily, you're becoming a more impulsive person, and you might be making unwise decisions. This is not a bad person, this is just a person with a depleted brain. No, it's not just me justifying myself. I would like to share an insightful concept that has been tremendously helpful to me during overwhelming moments, credited to the writer David Sedaris. It is a framework or a lens called the four burners theory. Picture your life as a stovetop with four burners, and each representing a fundamental aspect in your life: family, friends, health, and work, per se. And the four burners theory states that you can only have three of those going at a full blast. So this kind of introduces this interesting idea of okay, you can only have three of those going at full blast. So this sort of implies that no matter what in life, there are always sacrifices, there are always, compromises that are taking place. And this is something that I think, at least for me, I struggle with this a lot. Because I want it all. I want to have an amazing friend group, I want to be connected to my family, I want to be crushing it at work, and I want to be healthy at the same time. But it is so difficult that I don't even think it's possible to have even three of those going at a full blast for very long. So how do we approach this dilemma? My favorite perspective is the notion of the seasons of life. This suggests that there are phases where intense focus on one aspect takes precedence, while others may temporarily take a back seat. Conversely, there are times when prioritizing health, friends, or family becomes more crucial, and work may need to step back. This concept resonates with me because it acknowledges the ebb and flow of life. I find it helpful to think about things this way because it's so easy to see, So many of us have now realized that social media is not real life. Yet it's still so easy to see other people and think like, oh my god, they have it all. They figure it all out. But knowing that we're all dealing with the four burners theory, we're playing this balancing act that is life is helpful because that way, I think you can have at least a level of awareness and not always spending your entire life chasing that perfect balance. And just recognize, I'm going through this season of my life, and in the next month or next year or whenever, I'll be in a different season of my life. Although I know this feeling is very human, I hate it when it gets to my head and messes me up. So what do I usually do to energize the brain in these moments? The first thing is to understand what matters most. Is it my happiness? The grind? Is it my health? Or what is it? The things that I wanted to do, and just start doing that. People will have fun once they have completed or accomplished something. But to get out of this cycle of procrastination or overwhelm, I think it is okay to have fun at first. Try to forget about all the burdens that overwhelm you. And at the same time, you need to have the realization that when you are done having fun, there's a debt to be paid for it. It's like a credit card system. And with that, we have to be careful not to use it beyond our capacity. Record your ideas, events, or activities to look back on. The reason being that we can be too busy, and sometimes absorbing or having too much important information in our memory can be overwhelming. And the best way for me is to write it down in a pocket notebook so that with notes to look back on and relive, it can help us refresh our brain to think or develop ideas. Even ideas from a few months ago. Start making to-do lists, starting with just 3 tasks per day. If there are many right away, we tend to get discouraged and eventually feel more overwhelmed with the fact that we can't check off all the lists we made today or that day. I'm not doing enough. But actually, what matters most is progress, even just a tiny bit. I think it works pretty well, but is this something that I'm going to use every day? Or is this something that the most successful people in the world are using? Well, I don't really know. I'm just someone who loves making a system to live his own life. Thank you.